Okay, I think we're live now. Um, Hi, I'm Jim Cummings.
Hi, PJ McCabe.
We are here with Letterboxd to do a director's commentary of The Beta Test, our new movie that just came out with IFC. It is very funny and very terrifying, and we've never done a director's commentary before, so this is a first for all of us. I hope it's not gibberish. Enjoy it. I'm going to press play.
Yeah, let's do it.
The IFC logo. So I edited this film, and I got to put that at the front of the movie, and it was such a great feeling. As soon as I exported it for the rest of the team, they were like, "Oh, that's so dope."
Yeah, you're like, okay, that's pretty cool. It feels like a real movie here. Yeah.
Here are co-production companies, Sons of Rigor and Differant. And here's the Vanishing Angle logo. So cool. This is stock footage from Vimeo stock website. They gave us a deal, which was really helpful. But we wanted to open it with this kind of like Michael Mann style LA noir feel, because opening it with just this neck shot with Malin and fading up like we planned on doing in the script wasn't really working. It works when Michael Haneke does it. It doesn't work when we do it.
Yeah. I mean, we'd kind of talked about having it start, looking out over the Hollywood Hills or something, just kind of being like, here's our setting and the public, the people. But, yeah.
There's a cameo by Marshall Allman in the background right there on the patio. So, yeah, we wanted to do this cool camera trick where we made it seem like it was on a tripod, and then it's actually on a dolly. Oh, there's a yellow envelope. Actually, that's a little...
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
A little Easter egg there.
Under the tissues there is her yellow envelope.
She keeps her cigarettes in her yellow envelope there.
Right.
And it's actually on a crane and a dolly inside of this room. And we're on the second floor
Of a house,
making it seem like it's an apartment complex.
Right.
Which it wasn't.
Yeah.
Kind
I'm so glad this worked. I was really worried we weren't going to figure out how to make this play like it wasn't just at somebody's house in Tarzana or something.
And we wanted to open it like that, as like Touch of Evil, where you start a film with somebody planting a bomb in the trunk, and then for the next few minutes they're terrified of when the bomb is going to go off.
Yeah.
We did the exact same thing here, of her calling 911 to report domestic violence and then walking into a calm scene. There's a cameo by our friend Max, who's a journalist in the UK. What's up, Max? There's a cool knife in the foreground here. Little spooky sign of what's to come.
Spooky Fincher push in.
Yeah. So this is Christian Hilborg, who's this amazing Swedish actor, and Malin Barr, who is an incredible Swedish actor. She was actually a friend of ours before we cast her in the film. We wrote this scene in Italian because we were trying to do this homage to Italian giallos films from the 1970s. And then Malin was like, "Oh, I'll do it," and she did an incredible job in the audition. And I was like, all right, let's just do it in
I guess
Swedish.
they're going to be Swedish now, yeah.
And then she was like, well, my boyfriend is also Swedish, and he's a great actor. Would you consider getting him to be in it? And it's incredible. The opening scene is so terrifying.
Yeah, just this weird international couple. You have no idea where we are or what's happening.
It was really funny. We screened the movie in Deauville in France. It was the French premiere. Nobody had seen it in France. And I said, "Oh, enjoy the film. It's a comedy." And then this scene starts, and everybody's like, "Are we in the right movie?"
God, I love that.
Yeah, the dancing light in the background.
It's so nice. God, Ken Wales, man.
Yeah, so Ken Wales is our cinematographer. He did pickup shots for The Wolf of Snow Hollow. We did this like 2-day shoot of inserts, and he just worked at our tempo and got the jokes, and just is a cool guy to hang out with. And was laughing the whole time. And so we were like, I think he could do a good job as his first feature for the beta test. Matt Miller suggested it, actually, one of our producers was like, I think Ken could do it. And Ken was just chomping at the bit to make a cool feature, and he knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. Movie has no business looking this good. It's unbelievable for such a crazy, ridiculous premise we put together here. It looks like a $5 million movie.
Yeah, so we shot the movie for not very much. We shot it for like $250,000 in Los Angeles. And really, the technology is there now where you can do that. You can have a film look like it is a super high-budget film because cameras and lenses are getting so inexpensive and mass-produced and accessible. So working with Ken, it was a dream with lighting. We didn't have to think about it. We didn't have to get giant generators. We used these quasar tubes that are like very inexpensive and all controlled from an iPad. So you can light a room and light a scene just by like duct taping literally tubes to a wall sometimes and making it work. Oh man, they're so good in this scene.
Yeah, they're incredible.
Here we go. Okay, so we planted the subtitle here on purpose and then got rid of it at the perfect time. There we go.
Man, it never gets old.
Everybody gasps. It's so terrible. It's so much fun.
It's so intense.
It's so intense. Yeah, PJ and I are in a movie theater, like all over the world, watching this movie, and when that happens, everybody gasps, and we're just laughing the whole time. Like,
It's
oh
absurd.
my god!
I feel so bad for laughing, but it's just so violent and just just out of nowhere too. It's just like this really weird, interesting conversation about this like letter she got, and then out of nowhere you're just brutally massacred. Put your head thrown through a
In
wall,
this like
and
comedy.
then tossed off a fucking balcony. Like,
It's-
holy shit.
And then we go to the big classical music.
Just
Yeah,
crazy.
it's so absurd.
Yeah.
It's so much fun, and I mean, we love Zodiac. Zodiac opens in a crazy way.
But then
too.
you're like, oh, what is this data crunching? Like,
like,
what is this?
steal the
Like,
shot from the
what
Matrix
the-
going
Yeah.
through the screen.
It's like, I was
It's
like,
wait, what are we
whoa.
watching here?
Okay.
And then we're in like a weird tunnel of falling purple envelopes in the
Yeah.
opening title sequence.
And then your stupid face.
And then,
it's-
and yeah, that's the best part. So you screen this like terrifying movie, and then only when the title comes up of the beta tester, they're like, "Oh, this is that movie. This is that stupid comedy with Jim in it."
yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. As soon as my face appears, people are like, I think they're waiting to laugh because of how graphic that opening
Yeah, there's
scene
nothing
was.
really funny about the
No.
opening, so.
Yeah, these are all our wonderful associate producers, and yeah, we greenlit this film on our own. We created a crowd equity campaign on a crowd equity website called WeFunder. We raised the funds from the public, and it was amazing. I think probably half of our movies will be crowdfunded.
Yeah. Because we can keep telling these ridiculous stories and don't have to take notes from people who would have eviscerated this script if you saw it without
It wouldn't have happened.
any context for how we were going to do it.
We never would have been able to
Never,
make this
yeah.
film had we gone through the conventional
I
channels.
think no matter what we end up doing, we're going to have to keep doing it this way for our own little studio here.
Virginia Newcomb's so good. So that's a green screen outside of the window. My buddy Ben Brewer helped me to comp that out. This is in Natalie Metzger's house. So we shot it and decked it out to make it look like an apartment building, and then we just put a green screen outside because we had seen the VFX reel for Parasite, and we're like, we can make this work. Jim will just learn After Effects. And I got a couple of shots in the movie, but this wasn't one of them.
There's a lot of shooting this where, in frame, where you're like, it can't look like this. How are we going to do this? And Jim would just say, well, just don't worry. I'm going to figure it out later in post. And I would look at Ben, our producer. Ben would just be like, I guess we got to trust him. Be like, I don't know. He seems to know what he's doing. He seems very confident he'll be able to figure it out in the edit. And he did.
I
So
did
give
for the
him
most part.
credit.
Yeah, I did for the most
There
part.
were a lot of things he was like, I'll take it out in post. Or like, I'll fix that light later.
Best of
It's
luck.
like, dude, like we could just, all right, fuck it. I don't know.
So all of this Florence stuff, the Florentine stuff of the Medici homes and statues, all of that was found in the edit. We'd written it just to be this long zoom in, much more like Thunder Road of PJ's monologue. And then we discovered that you could, that's actually Ted Sarandos's Venmo. He doesn't have it anymore. He had to change it because we released that in the trailer, and people kept on screen grabbing 2 cents that they were requesting from him to be like, hey, what'd you think of the trailer of the beta test? Ridiculous. Whatever, he's a billionaire.
Ted.
He's fine.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
But we discovered this language of the edit where you could use these other shots, ancillary shots from other things to help add to a monologue, especially when it was very cinematic. Like later in the film, there's a 360 shot, and we added some 360 video of like the Facebook campuses, and it became this storytelling technique that we weren't expecting until we found it in the edit.
Right, because we didn't really write that in initially. That was the one thing in the script that kind of left out was that kind of device of putting in those edits of different cutscenes.
It feels like Casino or something like that. It's like a fun Scorsese.
It works. It helps to tell the story. I mean, there's a lot going on.
This is Bonnie Mata. She's one of my lab fellows from the short to feature lab, and I was like, I think Bonnie could do this part and be terrifying, and she killed it. And this is Jessie Barr. She is the writer and director of Sophie Jones, which came out a few years ago with Oscilloscope. She's really a writer-director buddy of ours, and then we had written the script. And we were like, I think this should be Jessie. I think we wrote this for Jessie. And then she came into audition and did such a phenomenal job. It's so difficult. It's like we're so close to her face, and she has to deliver this authentic feeling monologue about a murder on an airplane.
A weird story on a attempted murder on an airplane. Yeah. It's kind of out of context, but it's this spooky monologue. It's hard to do.
Yeah. And then Charlie set up all these lights in the background. Charlie Texter, our production designer, and just made it look beautiful. Yeah, we shot this right before the pandemic. We shot it in November and December of 2019.
Yeah, man.
And this, we made it. This restaurant is called Momed, and it was like a block from our offices, so it was just the easiest way to shoot all night. Isn't that insane? And then me getting interrupted with the check. So this dialogue of PJ's of lamb chops, I would never order that, is really funny because it was entirely improv. I was just like,
it's like one of the only improv lines
in the movie. But it was in the editing room. It was making me laugh, and I was like, oh, we gotta put this in.
Usually we start telling one of your long stories.
Yeah, that's great.
You have a few glasses of wine. Yeah, and you start rambling.
Like, you demean the monologue that she just gave.
We talked about how wonderful her performance was, and then just
So we cut to me being framed between these girls' butts at the gym. It's so stupid. So this scene is taken almost identically from one of my favorite films, Seduced and Abandoned, this Italian film from the 1960s, where he apologizes to a hypothetical person in his imagination, and it's so funny. And I was watching it, I showed it to PJ, and I was like, I think this could work. Yeah. And he was like, yep, that's it, that works.
Because it's the perfect whodunit type thing, and told in such an interesting way.
And at that point, the audience, there's no dialogue at that point, so the audience is like, wait, what is he thinking about? And so they're along for the ride for a minute.
It's a lovely show and tell of your thought process.
This was so much fun, screaming with Bonnie. So behind the camera, I'm screaming, and we just got to be these gorillas in nice clothes for a minute. It felt really fun. It felt like a Ruben Östlund film or something. PJ's cousin spun that plate.
Timmy shouts.
He was on set for one day.
Nervous.
He was on set for one day, and then PJ was like, look, this is really important. You got to spin this plate. If you don't do it, the whole movie's going to collapse.
Do not blow this. We are on a tight schedule.
He was so nervous. This is also Natalie's house. All of this was shot in a few hour period. We shot the film in 18 days, 17 and a half days. So we were really running through the production to get all the shots that we needed.
I love
this whole moment's a lot of fun. It feels like the most giallo. It feels like
this is
the harpsichord.
This is the fun stuff. Just the dark, spooky. Making the fact that you're getting married the most ominous, awful thing ever. It just as if it really is. Because, it makes sense. Where you're like, all right, no, I can't do this. I need to go. I need to go follow up with this letter.
Ben Lovett did the score for a lot of the movie, but for this moment particularly, we were like, hey, we need this Giallo song. It's got to feel like a Bruno Nicolai song from the 1970s. And he got it immediately. He was like, all right, cool, we're going to do this thing. And it really works. The harpsichord, the fun build-up, the scares. It has this certain tone where it looks like a Ruben Östlund film, but then it has these goofy harpsichord sounds throughout. It's like, what are we watching? What is this? What is the tone of this thing? It works. This is one of my favorite moments of any of my movies, going from this shot into the offices and teaching audiences what the packaging deals are. It feels very subversive.
You haven't even known I guess we talked about the agency thing, but now you're just thrust into a new setting.
This was the leasing office above our offices in Atwater Village. It's Bridge Stewart. He's one of our favorite comic performers. He's amazing. He has a YouTube channel. He's very funny. We found him through Reddit, actually, and that's how he became a buddy of ours. Thomas Cross is one of our coordinators. He's in the movie all the time. We had him cross in front of the camera a bunch, and we kept on calling it the Thomas Cross. It's an awful pun.
Perfect joke for him.
Yeah. but yeah, this was the leasing office above our offices, and we went up to deliver a check for rent, and we were already scouting for the locations. We're like, oh my God, we'd love to shoot the APE scenes here. It looks like a talent agency. And they said, well, yeah, we're closed on the weekends. If you guys want to have it for the weekend, you can have it for free. We shot some of the highest production value stuff of the movie for free. These buildings are not going to be around anymore. And then this always gets a laugh.
Oh, yeah. It's
double check and circle on the face sitting.
So adamant about it.
And then I get interrupted. Yes.
Yes.
Jacqueline Doak. So she is one of my favorite actresses. She plays the teenage girl that I almost arrest in Thunder Road. She's like making out with two dudes in the back of a car. And when we wrote it, the script said Jacqueline, because I was like, I think Jacqueline Doak would be, this is who I'm imagining as this like poor put upon victim of mine in this talent agency world. Yeah, she's so good.
Yeah. God,
you feel so bad for her,
yeah,
and we just completely ignore her. That's how it is. It's really, I mean, it's not this extreme, but under these circumstances of like we have to go and talk to this Chinese investors.
She's clearly so much more capable than we are, and just like such a better person. We just ignore her completely.
I also love when you throw in all these tiny things of like, we got to remember his name is Raymond. He supports the Chinese government. We just throw that in of like, remember, don't say anything bad about China. Yeah. And we're on that side now this morning.
Like whatever it takes to get this deal. Yeah.
Here we go. Oh my God, dude.
Look at you is the best. Those are good. It's like this guy.
Dude. Wilkie Lau, man. He's a theater actor and has done a bunch of movies, but came in to our offices. He lives in Santa Monica, and he came to Atwater all the way on the other side in like a Hawaiian shirt and flip-flops. And I was like, this is the dude. Yeah. And we immediately knew. I was like, this guy is so good. And he's so good in the movie. We were so lucky.
Oh, yeah.
Every performer.
All the casting, everybody's performance is so spot on.
Grant Rosenmeyer here. He plays one of the Tenenbaums. He plays one of the kids. Let's see. Ashley Robinson. Everybody's so good. Yeah, this moment I'm looking terrified. I mean, this was the movie to us. Like the zoom ins on me looking just super stressed and pretending to be happy.
Overwhelmed.
Just get the packaging deal. The building isn't collapsing. It's really funny. The Tesla.
Yeah, the Tesla is key.
I think this is like Ken Whale's apartment building, or I forget. No, we were renting it for something else. Was that Hermes Post? That was Hermes Post.
Yeah.
It was downtown, and we were able to park outside for whatever reason, and so we stole these shots to make it seem like it was the outside of this hotel, but really it's the Biltmore Hotel lobby. It's actually where they used to host the Oscars.
Yeah. Yeah, the Biltmore was awesome.
Yeah.
Man, what a cool location.
I run away. Chicken. And the Xbox,
this was
the PlayStation.
Ken.
That's right. Because we had to toss it off of Ken's balcony.
Yeah. So yeah.
It was the only place that we knew that had.
And I think it was you throwing stuff at yourself.
That's right. And I had to comp my head out. Yeah, I had to comp my head out of that shot.
Yeah.
Because people, I know that they would have zoomed in. They'd be like, is it the actual movie's about cloned gyms?
Yeah, right.
This shot is in the making of documentary that we put out on YouTube, and it took 30 times, 40 times to get that in focus and nailed.
Gym's not coordinated.
Because I didn't have a PlayStation growing up, and so my hand-eye coordination is awful.
Inferior.
But yeah, we finally got it, and I'm glad that we did it practically and didn't comp it or use strings or something like that. This is another Vimeo stock shot. It's actually Miami. It's not Los Angeles.
The stock shots are great.
They're great.
It's
palm
like
trees. You never know.
You around that's the LA noir moving around the city thing.
I've always hated B-roll. I've never used it. I've never used B-roll in any of my movies because it feels like it's less important. And so anytime we have those inserts, it has to be additive to the story. It has to have either characters in it or something. But this is the first time we got much more playful with the edit.
Yeah.
Virginia Newcomb, man. Every time she's in the frame, you want the movie to be more about her. She is so good. And I guess that was the point. That's in the DNA of the movie. But she is so good. It's Monrose Klein. She's a little cameo there of like her clocking me at the beginning of the party. Here goes Wilkie.
This scene was nuts. This was like...
So that's based on real testimony. Yeah. That's based on real testimony of what an agent did to someone. It was vice versa, actually. It was the agent that did it to an actor, and did it twice that night in front of his wife. Very graphic. And we put that in, and we thought, oh, some people are going to laugh at this. But then there's a huge callback later where it's not funny, and it worked. It's okay. Setup and payoff. It's a joke.
Just more things that this guy has to go through. And
Yeah.
It's like, why the fuck do I put myself through this shit? Like, why does anyone do this?
Yeah. Why do we work with
dealing
people like
this
this?
stuff? Like,
Why do we still work with these guys?
We just have to smile and take it and pretend
So,
like everything's fine.
in this frame of the crowd where Raymond is demeaning me, Thomas is there on the left, Natalie Metzger is in the background there, and then our colorist, Tori Harder, is next to her on the right. So it's like a huge family affair of just like how many people we can fit in the frame. Gets me. It's funny. Actually, in the last shot of Thunder Road, Natalie and Ben are in the ballet with me. They're like,
oh, really?
Yeah, because we didn't
didn't
have
know that.
many extras at all for that,
Yeah.
and so it was like we populated it with the crew and producers and stuff to make it seem natural. There's Bud Galloway in the back.
Good comp job.
Yeah, thank you. That was one of the first. That was my first trials of learning After Effects. That shot. Chen, she's so good. Chen's so good.
She is amazing. I love this painting too.
Yeah, it's so.
So
It's like
ludicrous. It's so perfect, right? Like, what
there's
a
Thomas crossing again.
dumb thing you have to buy. Spend $10,000.
$10,000 in that painting.
Yeah, we live in the future.
Natalie
It's
Crossman.
such
Isn't it
a
exciting?
dick.
It looks like The Social Network. There's
It
little
does.
kickers, soft kickers on the side of the face.
does.
Here's Monroe Klein.
These
Spooky.
spooky girls that keep popping up and stressing
Stole
me
that
out.
from The Office of
Yeah.
Dwight going, fuck.
Yeah.
Funny.
Just like the goofiest way to do jump scares. I remember we were writing it. We were like, how do we make the funniest,
He's just terrified of women.
like horror jump scares he could do for this guy? There's so many.
Oh, this
just getting
is
tapped on the
me being
shoulder.
pathetic, coming up and laughing, and I didn't even hear the joke. I think you can probably see the sandbag in the bottom left corner. Little Easter egg. Jim not being able to zoom in enough, and then she has to step over it.
Oh yeah, that's great.
I love that. I go, agents are petty. We're not as petty or angry as we are in television. And then she comes up, and I go, "Who the fuck is this person?" Immediately get petty and angry
Most
about it.
petty, angry response.
This was the monologue where we were writing it, and I was like, I think we're gonna get into some serious trouble when he starts talking shit about agents and really reaming them.
This is the most blatant line of, yeah.
You are a dying social network, and
one's-
everyone can't wait to watch you fall apart. It's so brutal.
Kind of the one you can't really interpret as a joke. It's like,
And
well,
it's weird. We've been in
yeah.
screenings where people go, oh.
Yeah.
We were at the Soho House in Los Angeles in West Hollywood, and it was just a bunch of industry people that were seeing it, and you could feel it in the room. It was like these guys have snuck into the castle with dynamite. They're trying to kill
They're
us.
not here to laugh.
No. I love
So
that scene.
sad, man.
I love that scene. And then you feel bad for him.
Yeah. It's funny. It's like the one kind of
He says, I'm 5 years sober. We saved the cat in that moment. And then,
thing, yeah.
yeah.
He's actually
then
just
watch
this
him-
sad dude who's so desperate
this was an
not lose
improv.
his job.
Chen said, how's your ulcer? And that was the one take where we got it. I said, it's good. It's killing me.
Yeah.
She was great. That's parked outside of our building. PJ running around with lights to get that shot. This is real. So I was actually driving the car. Ken had a dolly in the back. We had a sound mixer and a follow car. And then he rigged all of his lighting to the roof. And luckily the Tesla has like a basically an iPad in the middle of it. So it was lighting the majority of the scene. But me saying we just signed Tiger Woods as a director this morning, they're going to reboot Caddyshack with dogs is the thing that steals the show.
It's like the most quoted line maybe from the movie.
And she goes, cool.
Cool. Yeah.
It's so uncool.
Like, yeah. Just the worst idea, the worst monologue.
What? With me? No. So ridiculous. And then we go from him convincing her that there's nothing wrong to then immediately so suspicious. And then he's outside of the hotel.
Yeah.
And this is Thomas on a Lime scooter going by.
In his sweatpants.
Sweatpants and the suit, coming fresh from work. putting the
It's
Gucci's
like,
in the
putting
car,
the sneakers on because he has to run.
and then the gull wing, the fucking Model
Still
X
got-
Tesla,
yeah.
cheesiest thing.
Yeah, that's great.
This is one of my favorite moments. It's like, no country for old men.
Yeah.
No fucking way. And they walk away. It's like a standoff between a man and a blindfold.
Like this like weird old hotel. It's like reminds me of like the hotel from Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
Like,
sure. You're waiting for
like,
Slimer
for
to come
Slimer,
down.
Yeah, it's just like eerie and weird
Yeah.
colors. It's like where is he? Like what is happening?
And it's so great. There's no dialogue. There's dialogue, like a wall of dialogue for the whole previous 20 minutes or whatever. And then I shut up. And then the audience, you can feel it in an audience. Everybody's like dead silent. I get the knife out. And everybody's like, what's going to happen? And then it starts to become a bit romantic. And everybody's like, oh, this is really cool. Oh, this is great. I remember Ken had lit this and it looked beautiful, but it looked too bright.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's go as dark as possible. Like it has to be like what it would look like in a dark room with someone coming into a hotel with the blinds closed.
Yeah.
And it looks great. The audience is like squinting to see any clues.
Because they don't have blindfolds on, so it'd be dark. I mean, there's no.
And then the audience gets to see what the background is before I do. Hello.
It's like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, and then I shake my head. It's really funny. And then he hears her.
The weird sound.
The sound of like
so sick.
the wine glass getting put down on a glass
so
counter.
Cool. Set up and pay off later.
Yep.
It's more
There were
scary
so many
jump
times.
scares. Yeah.
So many times when we were
Every time you get tapped on the shoulder.
doing that, of like how much ADR do we put in of just like a guttural. This is great.
So
Olivia
strange.
Applegate.
Yeah.
So Olivia was in Krisha, one of my favorite movies of all time, and that's how I met her at South by Southwest 2015 or whatever. And then she's been part of our like film club ever since. And I was like, I think she'd be good as the girl in the cafe. And then we were going to hire an adult film star for this stuff, and she was like, "No, I'm going to do it." She was like, "My jawline is very noticeable. He's going to be able to tell it's somebody else." And so I was like, "Okay, let's go for it." And we had an intimacy coordinator named Annie Sprong who came on, and it was the hardest we've ever shot. This is actually not my penis. That's a comment. we were wearing underwear the whole time, and then I spent a day Googling penises to then comp it onto my body. But these 5 shots that are in the movie of the sex in the hotel room and then Raymond's sex in the hotel room took 6 hours.
Took a long time.
It was like a kung fu scene. It was like hands go here, all of the prep for it. I wasn't expecting it, but it was great.
This montage. It's one of the first things we edited, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
We got to this
took a
point
long time.
chronologically, and I
Yeah.
was like, it should be this funny,
like all over the
and
place.
then a lesson about how gratuitous the agency world is, and how awful Bridge Stewart could be against the WGA and writers.
And like, cutting that up with
Sex.
all the hotel sex stuff, and just
like this like
these
triumphant,
liars, along with his
amazing movie. It's like music is insane, success story music with the most awful.
The perfect encapsulation of these people.
And then really, we hope that young people in film watch this and say we're like hiding these Easter eggs of don't listen to people in Hollywood when they tell you this stuff. Like there are a bunch of tiny Easter eggs in the film that if you watch it properly, you become inoculated to some of the industry's bullshit and the power dynamics. I drive I own a Tesla. But
he has to make sure everyone knows.
Packaging agreement, signing. Ugh.
Just not, like as cool and as sexy as the sex stuff, and just the most unsexy lifestyle.
It's so cheesy.
Just lame, like lame Los Angeles, Hollywood.
Some people don't see it, but in the skyline shot, that building is collapsing on the right. That was one of the first shots I did.
Yeah, it's really good.
It looks pretty good. It looks like a building
collapsing.
Watching
it in theaters, even blown up, it looks really, really good.
Yeah, so we put the Sundance poster behind me because We had won the jury prize, the grand jury prize at Sundance in 2016, and we thought that we might get some blowback from the agency world, and we put that in as a joke at the last minute to be like, just remember, if you attack him, he's got these guys behind him. That was kind of a funny joke. Jacqueline's unbelievable.
Yeah, the scene is phenomenal.
That joke about greed right there is so fun. Can I have one? And then she grabs a handful, and I go, you'll do great here. It works. It's like The Square. Does. It looks like a Ruben Östlund film. We have the Pepto-Bismol on the table behind me. Charlie insisted on putting that hula girl there.
I was gonna
like,
say,
he wants to be somewhere else.
Yeah, of course. It's like the one scene where you have like a second to breathe after it's just been breakneck from the start.
And then you think it's going to be calm. Yeah. Where it's like, it's weird. The power structures in the scene are, you think it's going to be a Weinstein kind of thing, where it's like he's being like Tom Cruise in Eyes Wide Shut hitting on his assistant. And then she completely shifts it by basically admitting that she's read his mail and that she knows what he's up to, and it changes everything. And that's kind of the nature of the interviews that we've had with people in Hollywood, is that the power is now going to the assistants rather than the owners, the bosses, because they have access to their emails. They know when they're lying, and all it takes is somebody leaking documents to two filmmakers to change that landscape. It's a house of cards. Oh, this moment. Did your wife sit on your face this morning? What'd you say?
Like your little squint you do, checking your own brain.
At this point, when you're watching it in the theater, everybody's so uncomfortable. They're like, did she say that? Yeah. Or like, I think she definitely said that. And then you're trying to...
Close that door.
Close that door. It's really just grabbing at straws to try and
you look over at my office. You're just like
where did she go?
See that? Yeah. That's great.
So we shot this stuff, and then we immediately went into the garage and shot the mea culpa of me screaming, the climax of the film. I think we had 2 cards of those made, and Charlie was like, we should get it done in one. If you can practice it and nail it. One. This is always the biggest laugh of the movie.
Because, you're right. It's what everyone was thinking. And to just say it out loud.
Yeah, it's like a montage of you're seeing me think about, did she say it? Could she have said it? Yeah. And like, it feels tasteful. And then immediately it cuts to like a MacGruber joke. Nah, she said
it. It's just so like,
yeah. And then we cut right back.
Yeah, she's going to go confront her.
Going into the office, there's Jacqueline. Yeah. Hey, I just got the Keurig started. They show up first thing in the morning. It's still dark out.
But I mean, he's like, oh, you're here early. I was like, he never comes.
He never comes in that early.
Of course
so he's got a bone to pick.
Yeah.
Hi, Maggie. Maggie was our production assistant on Thunder Road, and she went to Missoula State, Missouri College, and then drove down to Austin because she DM'd me and said, I hear that you're shooting a Thunder Road feature in Austin in November. I'm driving down, and I'm going to work on your movie, and you can't stop me. And I was like, here's Natalie Metzger's email address. You can come work on our film anytime. And then she became our really good friend. And she's an animator and a filmmaker in her own right. And now is working at Netflix doing animation. She's got a dream job.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She's amazing.
But she crushed it in this.
Oh, my God. And she delivers probably the most profound line in the movie. I spend 45 minutes shouting at my assistant. And then she goes, Hollywood. And it's such a great... Oh, these poor fucking girls, man.
Brutal.
Oh. So this is taken verbatim. Yeah, that fucking Joe Rogan line or whatever you learned in that one. But that's taken verbatim from an agent at one of the top 4 agencies in Hollywood. One of the assistants gave us testimony and said, this is exactly how he shouted it at an assistant down the hall from me. This is the hardest shot in the movie to get because I kept on corpsing the line about Pepto-Bismol. We must have shot it 16 times.
Love the Pepto line.
You know the first goddamn thing about my personal life, and I am going to need new Pepto-Bismol immediately.
Because you have the realization, like when you're faced too, where you're like, oh, and I actually, I need. I
do need Pepto-Bismol
because you were like,
otherwise I'm going to have diarrhea. And and there Maggie goes Hollywood. It's so fantastic. And she's shredding documents.
Just shredding documents. Just putting Hollywood in a buzzsaw.
Poor Jacqueline, poor Maggie. We
These-
made the movie for them.
These mailroom shots are so funny. You made a horror movie about
Getting sexy
letters in
mail.
the mail.
It's so unfrightening.
It's just like scary shots in a mailroom. It's like getting letters. The horror element.
As if that's spooky. It's really funny. Oh, yeah, I drink Pepto-Bismol and smoke cigarettes in the car.
It's just funny.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. The guy checking me out.
Yeah.
What is he doing over there?
Jeff Martin.
Here we go. Jeff Martin and Will Madden.
Yeah, that's right. How are you?
Hey, how are you? All of this stupid
Man, I love
shit.
this lobby. It's so.
It makes the movie.
Cool we got to shoot here.
Yeah. It's so funny. We sent the movie to David Gordon Green, and we told him the budget. He was like, how did you shoot it? And we told him the budget. And he goes, what? What?
Yeah.
How'd you get that lobby? How'd you get that hotel lobby? And I was like, yeah, that was the most expensive day.
Yeah,
that was
a crazy
but it was
day.
worth it. So this is a funny cameo. Will has been in every one of my features. Will Madden on the right there. He also plays the Wolf of Snow Hollow. And every time we screen the movie, sometimes people in the crowd will be like, that's the werewolf. Well, the werewolf is going to come out and get people. It's really funny. Like, why is he in the background?
Subtle part.
And he doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
Jeff Martin, man, what a dude. Jeff came on set and bought a DSLR, a Sony, and a iMac when he got back home. And throughout the pandemic, has made a short film every week, him and his wife. And it's like a sketch. It's like sometimes short, sometimes sketches. And they play all of the parts. And he learned how to edit, and he learned how to shoot. And it's really crazy. I think he's on like short film 100 or something like that, 50, something like that. It's really wild. Yeah, and then he demeans me. I'm gonna spend 45 minutes telling you how big of a Hollywood agent you are. It's so good.
Yeah, he's great. Just so subtly just putting you down.
I love that bit of
Putting
him
you in
going,
your place.
I go, are you in the film industry? And he goes, no. And it's such a great power shift of like, I know what you're doing.
Yeah, he's like,
you don't think I know what you're doing? I'm not interested.
Your bullshit is gonna work here.
Your Jedi mind tricks don't work on me. Just to walk away angrily. And then this edit, so going from the lobby just by my the transition just by my head movement, all of that's planned. Of like PJ and I in the script are thinking like, well, how do we get this transition to work? We have 24-hour access to the lead actor, so it's like, cool, let's just do it, and then have it seem like this guy's walking from the lobby with the same mindset into this other room, and it works. We did the same thing in Wolf of Snow Hollow for an edit, and it works. Cutting on action.
Yeah.
It's so disgusted. Clearly thinking about cocaine. Hey, do you have that thing?
Yeah.
Jerry Hudak.
Yeah.
Matt McManus.
Matt
McManus, one of the directors of Block Island Sound. You know what I'm talking about?
With
Clearly
APE
cocaine.
over your shoulder, yeah. God, I love the APE logo. That's fucking great.
Yeah, Charlie and Olivia are
Ludicrous.
our art department.
APE, Jesus. Never
Bridge
actually
Stewart.
say, yeah.
Yeah, it's always APE. It's never ape.
Never say, yeah. That's never what it's. That's not what it's called.
Dude,
Never out loud. That's
That's Brian Peralt
Yeah.
in the background holding the clipboard. Dan Peralt's little brother.
You can't really see it, but there was supposed to be like
Yeah.
a plate of.
So there's cocaine. He has a mirror, but then also at the beginning of that shot where it whips up, both of PJ and I's first scripts are in the trash can, which is a fun Easter egg, as if we sent the scripts to our agents and they just threw them away.
tossed it instantly. Yeah.
It's the reinvention and space, episode 1, and we're like right before shooting, we're like, well, let's start out. Let's just put something in the trash
It's
can.
really funny.
And so we wrote on the spine of the thing, these
nobody
trash
cared
scripts
about.
nobody cared about. I hated this scene.
Yeah, I don't know.
The longest
never
time I kept on
understood
trying
your anger with this scene. I don't
to
know.
cut it in the edit. Like they're looking for place card settings, and
I needed it though, man. I mean, we need it for jokes for
yeah,
later. I mean,
we shot this in December. Yeah, it works. It works.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's in there now. But I remember on set being like, "We're gonna cut this scene," and you were like, "I don't think so, dude."
Dude, we need like for specific narrative points and jokes to work. They're
For the place
set
card
up here that
settings,
we have to do.
Yeah.
And it also gets us to like, or I don't know. There's a lot.
And also, like, we want to see more of Virginia.
You have to have. Like, this is a pivotal scene of you lying to her again and your stressors, and her being like, all right, fuck you, because she's off doing her thing. And, like, that kind of sets up her little side story going on.
Here's Raymond checking out pictures of my brother and his boyfriend. That's John Cummings. That's so funny. So funny. This was so much fun.
Great.
Breaking plates. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks so different. It's like, so this was Steadicam. We kind of had to do it in order to get the movement right. And then we wanted to get like as close as possible. We wanted to do some like, I don't know, have this feel a little bit stylistically dissimilar in its action of like, it feels a bit like Ashes of Purest White or something like that.
Well,
and then
I mean, each of the murders kind of feel like their own little short, like kind of
stylized
a little.
Each murder is its own character, to quote David Gordon Green on Halloween Kills.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the Michael Haneke blood splatter against the back there.
You did a lot of post
comping,
comping on this,
Yeah, I was like thinking about the physics of like blood dripping off of the head because that would be the lowest
first
point.
Splatter is so good. And the sound effect too.
And then the gardener's running away in the background. Doug Choi, one of our executive producers, read the script and was like, "Why didn't she immediately call her lawyer? Like, if you kill someone and you're very wealthy, that's what you would do." And I was like, "Yeah, of course, that has to go in." Vodka soda.
Okay.
We had to fight to keep this shot in as long as it is, where it's like we're just holding on PJ awkwardly in this restaurant, but it feels like a good transition of like for the first time. Yeah, that's right. She walks away. It's actually Natalie Metzger, our producer. Sorry, Natalie. A couple weeks ago.
This scene turned out great.
Oh, it's great, man.
These scenes are so pivotal to give so much of the. Yeah.
We did the kind of fun Scorsese overhead light the table, and then you get all this bounce thing. So yeah, we shot this the same night that we shot the other restaurant scene with Jesse Barr.
This was the last scene we shot of principal photography. That was wrapped at like 5, 6 a.m.
Yeah, that's right. That's Matt Miller all the way in the background. We needed somebody to be at a long table over there, and he was just doing emails for the movie.
Anyway, he didn't even know we were shooting.
But yeah, we're up. Dude, that was so much fun.
That was a lot of fun.
So PJ and I always talk about Tyler Perry and Gone Girl, where like he gets to be the comic relief when the audience is thinking, this guy's insane. Like, what is this letter envelope? What is this system? And then PJ gets to vocalize all of that later in the movie. And then everybody's like, thank God somebody's saying it.
Just like, dude, this is ludicrous.
Well, let's stay focused.
Yeah, like the standing up and walking away. It's so weird.
It's great.
It's fun.
Dude, and then you think about all the other stuff, like, you know, does your building have security cameras? Like, it was probably, there's no stamp.
I'm sure you thought about that.
And then I didn't think about any of this. And then
the most obvious steps.
I say that I had thought about the security cameras, and then you see me go to check out the security cameras.
That's the first thing you do. You're like, why the fuck didn't I go check the security? Yeah, the building cameras, you fucking idiot.
Why didn't you just take the mask off?
Like, it's like the most obvious question.
I don't know. I was like, terrified, dude. I'm scared of women.
Man. Yeah.
This is cool. Yeah, cutting the close-up for that. And then hand gesture with movement. It was so much fun shooting. So this is like, a block away from our offices. PJ and I would go here every day to write, basically. Yeah. We'd like leave at 3 p.m. and have a glass of wine and talk shop about where we were going to shoot it, how we would shoot it. And there are times we're like, we could just literally shoot it here. Yeah. And then we just started acting out the scenes out loud. Right. And then that became the writing of the movie.
Yeah. Just
there's Natalie again.
These two idiots dealing with this insane letter service situation.
Checking out her butt. Yeah. I didn't realize how extreme that is.
No, I hold on it for like a stupid long time. Yeah. And I'm talking about like I can't even help it. Like no idea where the letter came from. It's just like like
and
a
then
moth
the CAA
to the flame.
Everybody laughs. In Hollywood and in France, everybody laughed at that joke. It's a very quiet one. We almost didn't get to keep it in the movie. But he goes, nope, this is CAA. He blames CAA for the letter service. This is like a honey trap that they're trying to set up for us. But it works. I feel like if you're paying attention, it's funny. You talking about your wife killing you.
Yeah. It's also funny we shot Marty Hart's Katie here.
That's right. So PJ is the lead in a short film that we made called Marty Hearts Katie, and I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
The entire
I just thought of that.
film takes place in this
in
restaurant.
the same part of the restaurant, too.
Yeah. How funny.
Marty's return.
Marty's return.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, the B-roll shots work, man.
Yeah, it's
they're
good.
just good transitional, just moving us around the city because now we're getting into the noir engine detective stuff.
So this is Brian Casterly. He was our office manager. He's also in Cretia and a good friend. And he came in to audition for this part, and I was like, I just have to demean you. I just have to make you look stupid. And he was like, all right, yeah, let's do it. And he was so funny. He goes,
what happened?
Yeah, he goes, you're a police officer. Oh my God. He
Just
totally
so
buys
obviously
it.
not a... Yeah, you live in the building, it's not like you're some stranger.
You never see me walking
He has
out.
all your paperwork of
This is Amar,
of your
man.
identity.
He's fucking great. After the movie wrapped, Amar got us these 2 purple director's chairs, and they're really cool. They're here.
I know the mea culpa is obviously incredible, but this shot is probably my favorite performance of yours.
This was day 5 of the production, and we got this shot, and it was like 2 or 3 takes in of this thing. We wanted it to feel like Uncut Gems, basically. And PJ, after we wrapped this thing, as soon as basically the last frame of this shot I stopped and I look over at PJ and I was like, that was pretty good. And he's like, that's the best acting you've done in the movie.
That's by far the best I've seen you so far in this film. So thank God.
Oh my God, I'm such an asshole.
It's really good.
It's so
Just nail
ugly.
Every beat of it.
It's so ugly. I'm so awful in this.
It's just so desperate. And sad.
It's like ultimate Karen. This is
brutal.
to do this is just to people who are. It's so ugly, and that's what these people are. I mean, in many cases. Somebody was asking me who are the majority of the agents that people complain about, and that video of that dude tackling that or headbutting that guy at the restaurant in the suit. They're like, it's a lot like that guy.
Yeah. Ugh.
That viral video of that dude in the restaurant headbutting the server,
Insanity.
and then the
just this rich entitled
pedestrian.
asshole.
Yeah, it's that's who these agents are.
Yeah.
It's everybody that we interviewed were like, yeah, that related to that hit home.
Horror movie, The Mailroom. It's just this creepy.
And Brian and I this close to each other.
Smoking
That was the server room at Vanishing Angle, and then we just set up iPhones to fake the security camera footage. Oh my God!
I'm not violent.
I'm not violent.
It's coming out of the bushes like a squirrel.
Oh, it's so mean, man. Julio, dude. Julio Trinidad. So he's an actor in New York, and he was the best person for the part. We had a wide casting net for the thing, and he was great, but he lived in New York, and I was like, could you do it? We'll pay for your ticket. And he came out, I think it was for 3 days or something like that, not too long. But just this moment is so authentic. Yeah, he's so sad. This poor guy. Ugh. Just the fucking white privilege of I'm gonna look into this. All that ugly fucking dialogue of what these people say on the street. Oh, Scott Parkin. Here we go. Scott's been in so many of our short films. And we cast him basically to be Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
In this scene, this guy who murdered his wife. And then we tried to make it seem... I love that stuff of the 2 conversations that are happening at once. It's always my favorite. Of having the surface level conversation of the pleasantries, and then there's really darkness under the surface. The audience catches the darkness immediately. Most people are media literate. And this stuff, he says, no, he's handing out flyers, which is a lie. And then my character's like, oh, why did he lie about that?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, he knows about the purple envelope service, and he killed his wife because of it. And then it's a cocker, it's a Dalmatian.
Kill me.
And then I've gotten into
I have to lie to the daughter. Yeah.
And then it's Goofy. Keep an eye out for your dog. And then he says, go back inside. And then he's gonna come to my car. Oh, he's spooky. Really goofy and jump in the rose bush. And then, takes a picture of my license plate. This is how it happens. And then you don't realize when you go in and be an asshole to people that there are repercussions for your actions.
There's scary people out there that aren't going to put up with your shit.
This is one of my favorite shots. It's
Because
it's just so well lit. It looks like a giallo
man.
film.
Looks gorgeous. First scene we shot.
That's right. Day one, shot one was the 360.
Yeah.
It was the hardest technical shot in the movie, and it was the first. The first one we did. It's Matt Miller in the background again, doing emails, and Benjamin Wiesner in the all the way back. This is Braden, who is one of our associate producer's sons. He was 17, and we got him to come in and play a bartender. And we kind of had to sneak him in because obviously he's not 21. But he's from Lake Charles, Louisiana, and he was perfect for this part. You feel so bad for him. This is what people always say. They're like, oh, this is like Jim and PJ do the Social Network. It's like, Social Network's way cooler than this. And also, like, ours is goofy.
Social Network, but also, like, the Gyllenhaal Downey Jr. Zodiac scene in the bar talking about when he gets the blue drinks.
The Boy Scout?
Yeah.
Eagle Scout?
Kind of breaking down.
So, yeah, this was the first shot that we got in the movie. It's like before we knew that the movie was going to be any good, we were like nervous and trying to nail this monologue. And it was your biggest talking.
Yeah.
It was like the most dialogue that you had.
I was so nervous going into day one, and I was having to do all this stuff.
A lot of this, we had to comp out shadows. So I had to like do Photoshop files of when we pass the characters' backs so that the neon wasn't leaving a shadow on their backs. I really don't like that in movies. It always just seems... cop out.
Like the color scheme is so
wild. This was the most giallo. This was like because it's all neon. Awesome. It was all real neon, and then Charlie Texter went in with Ken, and then they used like black wrap and aluminum foil to cover up the light so that it would work functionally. It's beautiful.
It's cool. It's just a cool way to have this big exposition dump about the letter service and the data scraping.
All of this is real.
Because it is kind of a transitional scene. I mean, we like at this point, you just know he gets letters, but you don't know how or why.
Yeah. Here comes Braden with the glasses. It's so funny. You're so mean to him.
Well, I'm on a roll, man. Don't interrupt me.
Can I get you? No, please fuck off. And then the way he looks back at you.
And I'm like,
y'all catch your eyes again.
Yeah, like, all right, because I can see, because he looks so sad.
He's like, oh,
I'm still worried about it. Like, look at her, like, fuck.
I'm sorry,
There's
man.
a lot going
I'm sorry.
on. Yeah.
This stuff is so cool. I love this stuff. This feels a lot like Burning, where it's like locked off, following someone in a bar space, like that scene where she's pantomiming peeling the orange. It's like we wanted it to feel like that. It should be this. You can't take your eyes off these characters. They're the main focus of the thing, but then there's all of this other like kind of diegetic light behind them. It feels like you're in a real space. Wide angle close-ups. It's my favorite. Man, so much of this, it's like, it doesn't cost much to do this. I just want to keep making movies and like do scenes like this.
Yeah, so fun. Yeah, I mean, these are the fun scenes. I mean, this is why, we kind of started writing these scenes because it was the two of us getting to do this, like, weird, spooky, detective-style comedy.
And then I break bad there and accuse you of doing it. Or like, you can't even trust your friends in this world of talent agency.
Yeah.
Oh, don't listen to me.
All
right, dude.
All right, man. I'm here helping you.
Here we go.
Idiot.
And then we see Malin Bar again, and you're like, oh, that Swedish scene. I completely forgot the movie started with this graphic violence. And then we have this painting of a naked woman and her butt right next to my head, right over my me in the background.
Yeah, neon and butt.
It's like beer. It's like Schlitz or Budweiser, and then a butt in the background. That's what this guy. That's how his brain works.
Yeah, all this weird naked paintings throughout the movie with you.
Yeah, we had to cut. As one of the only big scenes that we cut, we had PJ talk about Oppenheimer, and it's actually the tail end of the shot. It was supposed to be this long take of him giving this monologue about what happened when he split the atom, and it was a really beautiful and poignant scene. But because this next scene is a lot of dialogue and a long take,
long shot,
it was feeling like it was doing both at the same time, and so we cut PJ's and put in this other stuff. And also, it was not. I don't miss it, like, narratively.
Yeah, we didn't need it. I mean, you just didn't want me to upstage you in the movie, and that was starting to...
Always.
It was starting...
Not just in this one.
Like, that scene was becoming troublesome to you.
Well, I was the editor. So
Yeah, that's right. So you're like,
at the end of the day,
his acting is too good in this. He's starting to upstage
Cut
me.
it.
Yeah,
Cut it.
Can't have him do
Natalie,
this.
you gotta shut him up.
Cut him down.
Cut.
Cut it out.
Constantly
Cut it out.
saying
Cut.
he's too good.
Cut.
Cut.
His acting is too good.
This was a lot of
This
fun.
is the fun noir stuff.
Yeah.
The spooky, dark APE with a drink.
That's how beautiful it is.
It's gorgeous,
like,
man. Yeah.
It is a step up in our abilities.
I mean, yeah.
This stuff, and then stepping into the shadow, and I'm like super dark, and like, you sure it wasn't you?
Yeah, this is the cool spooky shit.
What a sad, horny, lost man this guy is.
Just like literally to the point where he's just calling
his
recent
college
LinkedIn connections because you're so desperate, you're so stupid. And so you're just getting drunk at the office, calling a recent LinkedIn contact who you like sort of maybe used to see back in
college.
in college, yeah, it's just like, just gross.
I could have sworn it was you.
Yeah.
You added me on LinkedIn recently. It's
Sad.
so pathetic.
Sadly, something we both could have done in our lives.
Oh, 100%.
It's like calling,
mistakes we've all
calling
made.
old flames of desperation.
Yeah.
It's like, yep.
And then, dude, this moment, my sister is in business and does the kind of corporate doublespeak thing and like knows that really well. And here I sneak in one of the, I'm excited. We're all excited. And it's so funny. I'm just like, why does he say that? Why does he feel the need to say that?
Talk like this? Like, it's emphasizing something that sadly we all do. We're all guilty of the corporate doublespeak, but when you hear it done like this, it just makes you cringe.
And slipping it in when I'm talking about something completely different.
Yeah,
it's just, congratulations on the engagement. Oh, yeah, okay, great now. Yeah, bye now, take care. Every time he says goodbye, he says it that way. He goes, oh yeah, okay, great, yeah, okay, bye now, take care.
Yeah.
And we even put it in the end narration of like me leaving the voicemail. Like he's even shitty at saying goodbye in a voicemail. Okay, great, yeah, bye now, take care.
Like he just doesn't even realize he's doing it.
Hey, Jacqueline, perfect timing.
I'm gonna take care of it. Yeah, I'm gonna pay for it.
I'm gonna pay for it. I'm gonna pay for it. It's great. He is. Here we go.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, putting those transitions before every murder. It's either Virginia being like everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah, and then being like immediately
I'm gonna pay for it.
We're doing that murder in the new movie. We were just talking about that.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Like, it's best not to worry about that, and then immediately that becomes a big deal. It's really funny. Joy Sunday, man. So Joy Sunday is one of our favorite actresses. We are so lucky to work with her. Amy Renee, our casting director, was like, I think she could do it. And she taped for it and did a phenomenal job. And we completely changed the scene, basically, where it's mainly her scene. It was like, we were thinking about it being this crosstalk, more conventional editing. And instead, because you feel for her so much, we decided to do the kind of like Michael Haneke thing and just hold on her while her husband is choking to death violently.
I mean, it is her power dynamic. I mean, by saying nothing, just owning all the power in the scene.
And she's so good. We shot her second because Keith's was much more complicated with like camera moves and Italian and stuff like that. We ended up shooting her for the second half of the scene, and I think we only did 3 takes with her, or 2 takes. It was like, oh yeah, no, this is the movie now. She's done. This is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, cold-blooded, man. Poisoning your husband's vape and then waiting for him to smoke it. Laying the blanket down from y'all's honeymoon so he doesn't fuck up the couch.
It's funny too that he's trying to get her to go away with him, knowing like, all right, some shit went down.
Yeah, he thinks he's gonna get away with it.
Yeah.
And then I love that little performance of Keith's of like, you want to smoke? You never smoke.
That's weird.
And then we know why. It's great, man.
This is very Gone Girl style coloring too. Yeah.
Yep. It feels like what a house looks like with no lights on during the day.
It's really nice.
Dusk. Yeah, he actually hit the ground there, and when it hit the floorboard, we put in the sound of like a bong, this like kind of loud metallic thing as if he's hitting the table. I love this. And then it goes into my stupid face of like,
oh man, and you're like back with this idiot.
This is the fun part. And then I go, no, it's not. But,
This might be like the best scene. Like,
Yeah.
This is like favorite, just from pure.
So PJ and me and Ken were on set doing this. We probably shot it 12 times. We shot it a bunch of different ways, performance-wise and stuff like this. And this was probably shot 11. And then we went wild cards for the last few. But this is all one shot. This whole scene, this Vietnamese cooking class is all one shot. And the way that the camera moves, it feels like Tess. It feels like this wide-angle close-up, and it's on several different like gyroscopic movements where you're like, how is the camera moving this smoothly? But it's also locked off and stabilized. And then you can get very close to the actors and focus on. It's my favorite way to shoot a scene. And so after getting it like this and editing it for the last few years, PJ and I are like, we want every scene of our next few movies to be like this.
We have to shoot like this for a lot more stuff because it's just so fluid and interesting
and like the focus pulls to Jesse doing the fight, like it feels you're still with these characters in the foreground.
It's like weird attention tennis between all the different and like so much happening.
But fluid, it feels so crafted. It feels like really, Parasite or something like that. And and then just the movement over, my character steps closer to her, and then it becomes this like
it feels like a cinematic
close-up
movie.
two-shot. It feels so like, much more cinematic than
like this is what we should be striving to do as much as possible to tell like a complex scene story.
Yeah, if you don't see more cinematography like this in our future movies, we've failed.
Yeah, we blew it. And
dude, Virginia, it's so good. It must be absolutely exhausting pretending to be you.
Just right down the barrel.
And then she goes back to cooking. And we bring in
they're stupid.
Mozart's Lacrimosa, the saddest, most powerful song in the world.
And now they're going to go away together.
Oh, it's great, man.
But I will be available.
That's right. He says he's going to go scout venues for the wedding, but I will be available.
Like basically to be like,
okay, yeah, great. Bye.
Yeah, I should be focusing on that, but
dude, that was so much fun.
Shot this a month later.
Yeah, in December. All of this Terrence Malick stuff.
Yeah, the Malick part of the movie.
When it becomes a Terrence Malick movie, that's what we shot in December. This is me on Letterboxd. So anybody listening on Letterboxd, this is how I feel about having a Letterboxd account. Sometimes I feel like there's a crowd of people around me at all times judging me, waiting to see me slip up so they can tar and feather me. And I also feel like sometimes I'm misled and everybody is saying that they like something, and then I watch it and I'm like, I guess it's good. I think it's good, instead of actually watching the film and asking myself if I really like it. It was actually about infiltrating the guy's mindset and how it feels to be in 2020 or 2019. But since we're here,
it works.
It does.
It's
and I love all of you. Yeah. And I do read the reviews. I like to know the audience.
It is good to know.
It is good to know.
I have been combing through for the past few months every time there's a new batch. It's always interesting to see what people are thinking.
It's so great.
It's helpful.
It's very helpful. It's very helpful. It's very helpful, and it also helps the guy to know the audience. Like Hitchcock would do that too. It's like watching the film with an audience, asking them what they thought about it. It's like gauging where they are on the roller coaster. It's very important.
I understand people who say they don't read. Like you have to read what your audience is thinking. It's the only way you learn and evolve as a filmmaker. Or to make things better. And to tell what stories people want to hear and help you tell them better. You have to.
And maybe don't slap a corpse at the end of a film.
Because people get mad about it.
Who knew? This is great. Virginia shouting at me.
Smoke in the city,
Be honest with me. You're not honest with me.
This always...
This is not one of your fake relationships. I am your fiance. Fucking engage with me.
This always got Jim's fiance, Julia, very upset when we were in the edit. Every time we were cutting this
poor
scene.
girl.
Julia got very upset.
And then I'm pathetic. You coming? Yep, I'm coming.
You pushed me up the trail. You're like halfway down this hill.
Such a fake complaint.
Look like you want to run the other way.
All of this stuff, this like montage with cooking, I'm stealing from Krisha for sure.
Yeah.
Like the stepdad making the smoothies. Dude, Ken is so suave. That same camera move from the third shot of the movie, just sneaking up on Christian and Mullen over the counter.
His own setup and payoff.
And the knife is still there. It's like, oh yeah. They're freaked out.
Still,
it's great. You also have no idea. Like at this point in the movie, you have no idea. The audience is like, "Wait, she's gonna kiss him? Like, what is this? What is this? Like, how has she not learned the lesson?" Yeah, we didn't have a microphone on that, so I had to do the kissing sounds into my elbow, right there. Actually.
And there's like knives around. Like, is she gonna?
Yeah, is she gonna kill this guy? Does she know? What does she know? And then it's like this weird carnal.
Yeah.
It looks like Game of Thrones or something.
Gothic, like romantic. Yeah.
And then this shot is insane.
Yeah.
Crawling across the carpet. And have the head, like the camera on a
fire,
gimbal
like
on a
fire
dolly
coming out of the back of your head.
And then this tilts up
Going up
with
to
the
the
bloom, the like anamorphic bloom on the thing. She slaps the shit out of me. And a weird halo. And then the grab onto all of this.
It's so cool.
Planned out. Feels very cinematic.
Shot,
and the big, like Tchaikovsky choir.
Yeah.
It's like spooky, and you also don't know where it's going. Yeah,
just like
Virginia's fucking hilarious.
Russia.
To lean into this and be like, yeah, we're gonna do the sex scene, but it's actually gonna be a fight scene, and it's gonna be hilarious if you're watching it with an audience. And she thought of that, of like the licking of the neck, because she was like, that feels like what a wolf would do. Of like, the wolf is like, I'm gonna lick your neck, and I'm not gonna kill you. And then she like chokes herself out. I'm so confused.
It's like terrifying power struggle, asserting dominance over this guy. Yeah. It's really aggressive.
We end it like going back to me after she screams so loud, and then comes over to me and I'm like, I've never seen, who's this person? Okay, so after that we moved up to Virginia and she screamed one last time, and then she just laughed in the middle of it. It was like we had been doing this for the last like minute and a half. It was like, how long is this scene gonna be?
Yeah,
it was really funny.
Yeah.
And then this moment of like, man, my fiance is insane. It was like,
laughing.
Yeah, I gave her good reason to be.
Yeah, she married me.
And then it's quite lovely.
Yeah, beautiful,
like,
flickering
lean
light.
on each other,
just both thinking about their crazy lives together.
And then this was the moment Danny Madden loved, like transitioning from it looks like it's still Big Bear or like Arrowhead, and then we pull up and it goes from the sound of like birds to then like bus brake screeches. Like, oh god, we're back in Hollywood. Fuck this place.
Gray hills, brown.
You're gonna make fun of somebody for faking enthusiasm for their job. It's pretty demeaning. It's like,
pretty bad.
We're excited. We're all excited. Here we go. Here's the Hitchcock moment. Yep. She wouldn't have gasped and looked down had she not recognized him. It had to be her. There was a fake person that crossed. It was actually a picture of a friend of mine that I comped, and I made it look like it was a waitress walking, and then we put in the sounds of footsteps. Cut to wide-angle handheld. This stuff is so much fun. Yeah. It's so tense.
Just so weird.
Hi. Oh man, Olivia's great. This is Ryan Nilsson. He was an intern of ours and a production assistant and a good friend. He's also has a cameo in Wolf of Snow Hollow for a second. But we put him in this because he doesn't have any dialogue, and we knew that he was gonna like speak for the audience in their discomfort of like, and watching him throughout the scene. And Evan Haig. Evan Haig runs Fun Lab for us at Vanishing Angle, and is a filmmaker in his own right, and had always been dying to act in that movie. And it was like, let's have him play Tom, and
he was great.
He's so good. Oh, poor Olivia. That's PJ's dad.
My dad.
That's Paul.
That's right.
Walking up. That moment is so great. Y'all can go. And then Ryan looks over like, what? Whoa. He's not fucking with us?
Yeah.
And then,
yeah.
Oh, it's so good. It's so great for filmmakers out there. You can just like set up these shots, and then as long as the eye line is perfect, as long as like it looks like they're looking at each other, you can have an entire scene with just, or like you don't have to have dialogue. You can just have them look at each other. And if the eye line works, it tells the emotion of the characters. It's great. I think I need you to go wait in the car.
Ugh.
That moment gets people to go, oh.
Yeah, it's just,
God.
Dude, like you guys finally made up a little bit, or seemed to. You're right back to it. It's like something about Hollywood.
Yeah. It's work. Ugh. I'm going to walk right out of here. I'm not leaving. How does it work? Do you even know? Are you a prostitute? It's so awful. And it's silent. It's so quiet. You hear the police sirens in the background. Yeah, Angel and Skylar. There's Skylar from Wolf of Snow Hollow. Officer Gutierrez makes a comeback. Oh, Olivia's so good.
Like, what
All
are
of
you
that stuff,
fucking
like the
doing?
small head movements of like, you get such an idea. They're having an entire conversation just by eye contact and body language. Fuck. Of course she's going. Of course she leaves. This was shot outside of the Vietnamese cooking class, right before we shot that scene, because this was the only street that we had locked down. We wanted it to feel a bit like Uncut Gems on a busy street. Oh my God! And I say that line about female writers and
Diversity's
really in right now. It's
God.
Dude, we've heard worse.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
with
not,
agent testimony,
whatever, yeah.
it's like it is so much uglier.
Look, this is what people are into right now. They're really pushing a diversity thing, so we got to lean into that.
It's so awful. That was Ben, Ben Wiesner. That was his cameo carrying the two pictures. This is our friend Kevin McManus's baby, Mae McManus. This is her feature film debut.
She crushed it,
and she was the mascot. She was the MVP that day. Oh yeah, so the shot.
That's my favorite shot in the whole movie.
It never comes back, but it's a wife clearly beating up her husband's car, and everybody laughs at it. Where it's like they immediately get that this is like the whole neighborhood's falling apart because of this purple envelope thing. But our producers are like, "Are you sure we need this? Are we sure? Because it's going to cost us $125 or whatever it is, just to do this thing with the car." And I was like, "It's worth it. Let's just do it. I'll pay for it."
Yeah, I had to do it.
And that was something.
The world falling apart. You needed that.
The nitrous. There's Dustin.
Yes.
Dustin Hahn. Dustin is one of our best friends and co-writer of so many projects. And we always cast him as this incompetent character, but he's so good at it.
He's really good at it.
Oh, that bit, the ulcer line is one of my favorite three-line jokes.
The ulcer thing.
You want coffee? No thanks. I have an ulcer. Immediately goes into the next scene. Yeah, man. At this point, the movie's just flying.
Yeah,
it's like
it breakneck to the end again.
And then we get to do.
Like we start off so fast and then end the last 23 minutes so fast. I love this scene. This is the fun noir letter stuff.
Yeah, it's like Chinatown,
yeah,
detective pornography of getting the information. Oh man, Jeff Markle.
Oh man, phenomenal.
So
pro.
Yeah, he actually is a pro. He came in
true pro
and
had some tough dialogue and just
it's a lot.
No
it's
big
like
deal.
numbers and stuff, and just seems so authentic as the head of this
great
paper company. We are so lucky to have the cast that we do. I have to thank Amy Renee.
Yeah.
Dustin, so goofy.
He plays his dad so good too. Just my stupid son.
My stupid son.
Working for my company. Give him the fucking paperwork.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude.
You're finally good at lying. You're finally getting what
pretending
you
to be a federal agent.
Yeah, watching you get better.
Name the name of Johnny PayPal. No, it's not a real name. Everybody laughs at that. Everybody knows that Johnny PayPal is not a real name. And how did he not?
Yeah, and Dustin's so certain.
He goes, I'm sorry.
Like, yes, here's some information to help you, officer.
He's like, yeah, I'm going to help you out big time.
This isn't fucking...
And then he pulls it. That looks like obstruction of justice to me.
It's ridiculous.
I'm sorry. Fuck. He's so incompetent. It's great. It's so funny.
Purple
Dustin needs to be a leading man. He can do it. He just always gets cast in these bit parts, and it's sad. We always bully him into doing bits, and he's very good at
his
it.
bits. It's very funny.
You know, Bill Hader is a leading man in Barry and in Trainwreck. It's like there's no reason he can't transition. Somebody cast Dustin Hahn. Maybe I should be talking to us. Maybe we should bully Dustin into. I still say bully. We should bully him into being a leading man.
Yeah.
This moment is so much fun. Police officers carry cards. I'm a federal agent. Wow. He believes it.
So impressed.
Here we go. The fucking close encounters shot of running in, stressed out. Yeah.
Yeah.
We tried to make it real. We tried to do as much
how you would actually track
research
his
of how
address.
you'd
had to give an
find
address
a guy
for his EIN, for his LLC number.
Johnny PayPal basement. It's and then we ADR'd that bit of me going basement.
Yeah.
And then there he is.
It's
the joke. There he is. There's my guy. There
Using
he is.
it in the detective mode.
In a spooky way. It's so funny to see it. to see it in a screenplay format of that line coming up,
There
you know,
he
80
is.
minutes into the movie,
Like
70 minutes
this
into
epic,
there he is.
Hot Fuzz style delivery.
This is Ivan Bernal. He's in Marty Hart's Katie as well.
Oh yeah.
He's an actor and is
yeah.
so funny. He's just, and then
cleaning up still.
He saw it. He came to watch it in the theater a few weeks ago in Pasadena, and he was like, "I didn't realize you kept in that stuff that I was whispering in Spanish." I was like, "Is it bad?" And he's like, "It's pretty industrial." I don't speak Spanish, so I just let him go off.
Yeah, it sounded.
It sounded fine. Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, I wouldn't have put that. I wouldn't have kept that in." But yeah, very very funny. He goes, "The Spanish speakers will love it."
Good.
So that shot, okay, so let's go through it. So that shot of the house was shot in Pasadena. This was shot in my driveway during the pandemic. I got my camera out and PJ pulled focus and we got that quick shot of me in the car. This is shot in Lake Arrowhead of the bathroom because it was the only bathroom that had a sliding thing that you could climb into. Everything else, the window was too small to climb into. So this shot is Lake Arrowhead.
Spooky red.
Yeah, the music you can hear just in the background, some dripping and stuff. This is the apartment. This was Ben Wiesner's apartment right next to Vanishing Angle offices. This is where PJ and I rehearsed the movie in this big open space. And it's supposed to be all one location. And it works because Ken Wales put that light, that same light outside. That was the light that he used for Malin and Christian to like give the kicker on the side of their head outside. Kevin Changaris, man.
Wacko. Johnny PayPal.
Johnny PayPal.
The man, the myth, the legend.
In the screenplay, we refer to him as the creature. It wasn't Johnny PayPal, and then we've started calling him Johnny PayPal ever since.
Johnny PayPal now.
Bookcase.
Love this shot.
This is still Ben's apartment.
Homage to the basement behind the bookshelf I used to live in.
It's true.
Where you wrote Thunder Road.
Yeah, that's true. PJ used to live in a basement that had a bookshelf door.
That we built. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the fun, spooky stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just like the best song in the movie too.
Yeah. Yeah, so this song, everybody's been asking what it is, and it's actually from the APM library, and we found it, and I was like, I think we could do this, and we just loop this one part and take out the high end and the hi-hats and just have it be this thing.
That's weird.
And it's the total tone of this moment, like spookiness.
Awesome.
Yeah, so he's got like $1 million in the bank account, scraping data. That's actually the algorithm on the wall. Oh, this is the Vanishing Angle offices. So this is across the hall. Charlie Texter and Stephen Dudrow, our production designer and set builder, built this out in like a 3-day period to make it look like a basement. And we only shot one side of it on the 180. So it looks convincing. But this is where we were having production meetings for the movie. It felt like a studio. We were able to kind of build sets.
That's cool. They did a hell of a job.
They did a fucking hell of a job. It looks unbelievable. And you buy it as being on the ground.
The weirdest basement.
And then the
so fun.
Phantom of the Opera outfit behind him. And the
so weird. The
poster. So we cast Kevin Changaris. He plays Officer Bo in The Wolf of Snow Hollow. The guy I beat up in that too. This is when I slammed my leg. We had to stop production because I slammed a chair into my knee. I had to ice it for 45 minutes. Kevin's so funny. There's an actor named Ryan Masson that we auditioned for this part who is one of my favorite actors. He is so talented. And he was very close to getting it. And then Kevin came in and did it, and we realized it had to also be kind of funny. It had to be
kind of goofy and just this.
It had to be like Peter Sellers being the bad guy, because the way that we were doing it, it was like partially funny and goofy. Where when you're watching The Matrix, Agent Smith is so amazing, but you've seen him play insane characters in the past, and it's kind of funny. It's like to watch Hugo Weaving do that part.
It's just kind of this like loser guy who comes up with this huge algorithm, but just. That's kind of the internet. It's just kind of as powerful as it is. There's
all
a lot
over
of
the
goofballs that are funny.
Yeah,
but scary.
These small moments of like the sound, the like echoing sound of the hard drives, and then we're next to a subway. Like, what is this sound? This insulated basement, and is very spooky. To hold on that long take of, you didn't get the third letter. What do you come down here? Blow me? Fuck. No. Fuck.
He's great. Man. He had great cadence. It was
yeah.
It was exactly how we wrote it.
It shouldn't look this good.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's really ridiculous that it looks this good. Oh fucking hard drives.
Weird light in the back.
Yeah. We stole that from what is it? I Saw the Devil. There's like a bunch of Korean horror movies that we were like, oh, you can get that low, and then you have these like tungsten lights hanging above, and it creates this bloom, and you color it, and it looks spooky. I mean, obviously, Old Boy coming up with a hammer, beating somebody up with a hammer. It's like
painter's
it's difficult to
whatever,
sneak away from Korean horror. Would you mind? So he groans. I had to do all of his ADR because it was during the pandemic. I had to do like the of him sitting up, and then we simulate the like for this next shot. He clicks on the thing, and then we do the same camera angle that we do when my pants come off in the hotel room, like him finally launching the full thing.
And all this actual code and everything written by Jerry Hudak.
Yeah, that's right. So our buddy Jerry built this program to run in Python to connect people. And actually in this next shot, you can see the algorithm. So for a second there, if you freeze frame that, that's how you'd actually do it. If you want to do the purple envelope system. And PJ and I purposely put it in because it's like, we're not going to do it. But if somebody wanted to.
If someone wants to figure out how to do this letter service, go for it. Yeah, there's the blueprint.
Yeah, there's your Easter egg. Kevin is so funny in this scene. You should be kissing my asshole.
Scary. It's like he's scary, but it's so ludicrous what he's saying. He's just a wacko.
Yeah. The power shifts. He stands up.
Sure. Like,
probably has broken arm and is still like
he just got beat to shit with a hammer.
He says I don't have to look pretty on the internet. Yeah, it's like this guy's been wearing a suit the whole movie. Yeah. There's this shitty guy in a basement eating a microwave burrito.
Yeah, like this weird loves Phantom of the Opera.
He calls him a bro as well. Yeah. Oh yeah, we were trying to get the music of the night, that song from Phantom of the Opera to play during the scene, and it just wasn't working. Everybody was like, it's too familiar. Everybody knows that song. And so we got this other big
Glenn for some reason.
Yeah.
Like his buddy.
Yeah, it's hard to hear, but he goes, Glenn, call 911. I got fucked. So PJ and I are like, if we ever do the sequel, we have to like follow up with Glenn.
Yeah, the spin-off series we want to do. We're following Glenn.
It would introduce Johnny PayPal in a deposition, and then Glenn is also in there. I get to finally see Glenn.
And Google Glenn. Yeah.
This hammer shot. So I comped the hammer coming into this frame. Ken did such a good job. He locked it down, but to make it work with those leaves, to blend those two, it looks seamless. This is so ludicrous. Lighter fluid on all my clothes.
In the middle of the parking garage. Like what do you think was gonna happen? Yeah.
You're gonna set off all the sprinklers, you fucking idiot. Like
there she is.
There she is.
Just awful.
It was great. We watched it with John Bowers, our sound mixer, and we watched it chronologically. So we're mixing the movie for the first pass chronologically. So he didn't know what the movie was gonna be. He didn't see it beforehand. And we got to that moment where I go, there she is, and he paused it, hit the space bar, and then walked, and he was just like, he did not just there he is her. It was just like, he was shocked. He was like,
just there
no, dude. So I have to talk to you about something, which is exactly what Malin says in Swedish in the opening scene.
Yep.
So I have to talk to you about something. About a month ago.
This is very good, very fun.
Yeah, it's
very crazy.
There was an exclusive meeting in a hotel room. When I got there was a naked woman. Nope. That's a lie. I knew she was going to be there.
Dude, you are such a nut.
Poor Virginia. Poor Caroline. Can't be honest. PJ always said that when we were writing. It was like, we should obey the horror tropes and make this an exorcism scene. Like, this movie should be like the exorcism of Emily Rose, or like the end of The Conjuring, of like, he's got to get this bile out of his body.
He just can't. Can't get it out of his system.
Here we go. The WJ fight's just the beginning. As soon as the other unions get involved, we're fucked. They're never going to let us take all the money. Why do we think they're going to let us take all the money? PJ explained it to me. We're becoming travel agents. Raymond grabbed my dick at that party. And then we finally get to do that.
Everything
that joke that you thought was a joke earlier, it's like, no, that was super fucked up. That was sexual assault in public. It's, And everybody still wants to be Harvey. Everybody remembers that line.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what's going on, and everybody still wants to be Harvey. It's so true. I think it's falling apart. It's great. I think I destroyed 3 suits this day. It was 8 hours.
Yeah, that was, dude. Yeah, that was a long, grinded out performance day. You blew your voice out.
I did.
Yeah.
A couple times.
Here's the exorcism stuff.
Oh man. I just wanted it to be the early 2000s. We shot that APE shot in my fireplace.
Yeah.
I impersonated the federal officer. Couple times.
It's great.
The man down the street murdered his wife.
It's so satisfying to have you finally be honest.
It's every
funny.
lie that the audience has been tracking for the previous 85 minutes. My teeth are fucked. It's great. I think I committed mail fraud, as if that's the worst possible.
That's what we got to her. She does like that. Well, because she knows about the letter service too.
That's
so
right.
That's why that line.
That's right. Oh, she knows. I went to a hotel room and there was a naked woman. Like she knows immediately.
Yeah.
She did the
thing.
thing.
That's just crazy. Is like in this monologue, you only mentioned the affair part like very briefly. But it's about so much more that it's the place starts setting.
Deep down, I'm somebody who just cannot give a shit.
Goddamn, yeah.
And then I get horrified that I just said that out loud right before our marriage. It's awful. Awful. I don't have a Tesla. I've been leasing this whole time. The biggest one, the Tesla.
Yeah. World's about to become a horror movie. Yeah.
I think I just watched it. It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, what's weird is the letter service. It did. The letter service becomes this like virus spreading.
Yeah.
And they have to flee the country because of it. It's
yeah.
Complete freak accident that we were editing this movie during COVID.
And we shot it right before the world.
We were so lucky. Yeah, the whole movie's about shame and the male ego and toxic masculinity and not being able to be honest even with yourself or your best friends or your wife. And so many times when we were interviewing people about what it was like to work in the agency world, talking about that of like not just their work lives but also how it affects their relationships, of how your significant other thinks of you if you lie all the time. I forgive you.
So
the goofiest lean back. Everybody that gets such a big laugh every time of like.
I thought it was gonna be too goofy, but it's great.
Yeah, that was the goofiest take of all of them.
So
and I was
goofy.
like, let's just do it.
Like,
Everybody was saying no, don't do it. Matt Miller, our producer, was like, let's have him be like, oh, thank God, and then do the goofy thing. And then we tried that, and it wasn't really working.
No, it works. God, we cut this so many times trying to find the right language.
We had it be. This is the cowboy shot.
Yeah. Great standoff.
But yeah, we cut this so many different ways where it was much less subtle. Of like we saw Caroline going into her affair, and we wanted to end it much more subtly.
I'm glad, we worked this enough that we found it right.
Larry Davider.
Yeah.
It's really funny. And then she's like, "Come on, dude. Of course."
Cool. Very cool.
The goofy wide shot.
Pointing the different.
It was like a Roy Anderson movie, and then U-Haul coming down. And then the voicemail. I'm so depressed.
Coming out of the tunnel.
You can reach out to anybody in my apartment, in my office. Okay, yeah, great. Bye now. Take care.
Okay.
So many times, PJ and I were recording this in a voice memo app on my phone. And just for the moment of me saying, okay, yeah, great, bye now, take care. We were just like laughing. I was just like, he's going to do it. He has no other way of ending a fucking call.
Some things you can't change.
This is Amber Trujillo, who is in our series Minutes. And she is an astrophysicist and actress.
She, expert in all things space.
That's Ben in the background there, Ben Wiesner, our producer. We shot this in December, so obviously there's all of that perfect Christmas stuff on the windows. You have a passage of time. I really like this scene. I think it's like, it feels very subtle of like just wide angle close-ups.
Talk about like communicating with no words stuff.
And this was the last thing that we shot of principal photography for the film.
On the way back.
And then we dropped off Virginia at her hotel to go to the airport. And that was it.
Yeah, on the way from here. Wow.
That was the last time we saw Virginia until Tribeca.
Tribeca, yeah.
That's crazy.
That's crazy because then a pandemic happened.
That's crazy.
Yeah, she's great in this scene.
She's fucking unbelievable.
It's
We
such a
stole
good
all this
way
from
to
No
tie
Country for Old
things up.
Men.
Yep.
Of the brother in the wheelchair who does
Sure.
the whole time. Yeah, now he's almost a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What you're
I mean, it's
dealing
the
with ain't
thesis of the
nothing
movie.
new.
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
Country.
look,
This country's hard on people.
yeah.
And it's not waiting for you. What is that? And then he says,
waiting on you, yeah.
"That's vanity."
That's vanity. She's pregnant.
She's
man,
pregnant?
yeah.
It's funny. We got that shot of her holding her belly, and then that was the last shot. And we're like, "I think we got it." So I guess we're done. I guess that's a wrap.
I guess we're done.
Oh yeah, and then Amber drops off the thing. Jack. It seems like they're finally coming together. He says, "Turn that phone off now."
Yeah, but it's the point of the movie. It's like there's always going to be stuff that pops up.
Temptation.
You're gonna have to deal with. Temptation is
And then
real.
Amber leaves her number.
It's just like, you gotta be kidding me. On their way out of the country, escaping, trying to run from their past.
You ready? And then she looks at him knowingly, like
yeah.
she saw the thing. And then we don't really know if he took the receipt or not.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. You never get a good look at Amber until the very end. We end the movie with her. That's Tina Carbone. She was our production manager. And it goes out in slow-mo. Which we steal from Killing of a Sacred Deer. And then Amber is just like the most beautiful waitress of all time. It's a joke.
Yeah.
So
on that note.
That's the beta test. Thank you for watching it with us. Yeah, we
Yeah.
finally put in the WGA thing. That was a little funny
Yeah.
joke. We're like, I think we can afford to do that. That'll be funny. To show if the audience didn't know whose side we were on, you could tell we were on the side of the writers. Thank you for watching it. It was made from our hearts, and we made it for y'all, you perverts and you cinephiles.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching it, and
Thank you all. Hope
more
you
soon,
enjoyed it. Yeah.
hopefully.
Stay tuned for more.
Take it easy.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.